Good day, monkeys. I'm Eddie Braverman, that's Midas Mulligan Magoo, and this is episode 30 of Not Safe for Work on WallStreetOasis.com. It's been a big news week, and this week we're covering the terrorist attacks in Oslo, Norway, and the untimely demise of 27-year-old vocalist Amy Winehouse. So let's get after it. Friday's attacks in Oslo were breathtaking, literally. As details emerged that a car bomb had devastated a government building downtown, and then a lone gunman was attacking a youth rally with a machine gun, and then that it was suspected to be the same perpetrator, it literally took my breath away. The coordination required to pull off an attack of that magnitude is staggering. Immediately, the media began looking for Muslim scapegoats. The early theory was that the attack was a reprisal for the indictment of Mullah Krikar, a Kurdish nationalist living under asylum in Norway. He got indicted earlier in the week. Even when it was clear that there was no Islamist connection to the attack, the piece the Wall Street Journal ran mentioned Islam 3 times in the first couple paragraphs. Now, I'm not going to go into the possible agendas of the Western press, especially those owned by the likes of Rupert Murdoch, but it should definitely hammer home that you shouldn't trust everything you read, at least not initially. The guy who actually pulled the attack off is a conspiracy theorist's wet dream. He's supposedly a Christian fundamentalist and Freemason opposed to the multiculturalism of Western Europe, Norway specifically, and he's against Muslim immigration. He's blonde-haired and blue-eyed. I think it just underscores how dangerous religious fundamentalism is regardless of the flavor. We've seen it in America more than almost any other country, with abortion clinic bombings, the Olympic Park bombing, the Ku Klux Klan. Fundamentalist Christians can be just as murderous and evil as any Muslim with a bomb vest. What do you think, dude?
Well, first of all, he's purple-haired and he looks like fucking Frodo when you took that ring away from him. The guy's scary looking as shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, everything you said, man, right on. I mean, the more and more I think about it, the more I think Rupert Murdoch is the devil and he's really controlling all of us, from the back pages of the Wall Street Journal somehow. But seriously, I'm very quick to jump on the anti-jihadist bandwagon myself. But
yeah, me too, man. I'm guilty as charged. That was the first thing I thought too.
It goes to show, bro. I mean, crazy doesn't have a fucking address, and all I can say is I think we got to be more vigilant with terrorism, no matter who it's coming from or what the motivation is. You got to go after the people who are helping them out. There's no way that, some guy goes out and buys 6 fucking tons of fertilizer and a light doesn't go off in somebody's head.
Right.
Altogether failure of Norway's security establishment. But, just one thing I want to throw out there as well is some of these Scandinavian countries were a favorite escape haven for Nazis after the end of the Second World War. These countries also, some of them had pretty strong Nazi contingents amongst their nationals. So I'm not even so sure that this is a religious issue at all. A lot of the ideas, put forth from this guy's ideology supposedly very much echo Nazism. So there's a lot of stuff here to look at. I definitely don't think one guy can pull off something like this very easily. If you look at the damage that was done on the street in Oslo, it definitely does not look like a single car bomb went off. I mean, there's some serious shit going on here, and I don't think we've even begun to scratch the surface of what really happened.
Yeah, I mean, there's reports that the police are looking for more people. I don't know. This guy supposedly has taken credit for it, and he fully expected to be caught, and even published a 1,500-page manifesto prior to. I mean, that should be your biggest fucking hint. If you know anybody that's got enough time to write a 1,500-page manifesto, that's a guy you need to be looking at. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he did this by himself or if he had outside help. By now, you've no doubt heard that singer Amy Winehouse has sloughed off this mortal coil at the tender age of 27. She leaves behind a family, friends, and fans who are no doubt grief-stricken at the moment. But nobody can tell me that they're surprised to hear this news. She was one of the most high-profile addicts in the world. Early reports are saying that she bought cocaine, ecstasy, heroin, and ketamine the night she died. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, you can take comfort in the fact that she left this world on a rocket and wasn't feeling any pain. I happen to be a fan of her body of work. I thought she had a great voice, and she attacked a genre of music largely ignored by the current generation. With that said, I'm not sure we should feel bad for her. She left this life on her own terms, something that very few people are given the privilege of doing. I also think that life gets boring after a while, and if you're rich and famous, it gets boring at a greatly accelerated rate. You know, maybe at 27 she was as bored as some poor bastard at 75. If that was the case, I get it. Like Gunny Highway said in Heartbreak Ridge, you can run me, you can starve me, you can beat me, and you can kill me. Just don't bore me. What do you think, dude?
Great movie, by the way. Um, I think it's very hard for me to speak ill of the dead, which is why it's even harder to talk about Amy Winehouse. When you got a guy like Charlie Sheen who drugs himself out of his mind, you kind of want to root for him because he's at least trying to live the life. I mean, every time I looked at her, I got the sense I was looking at somebody who really didn't want to be alive and was doing everything she could to end her life. So, like you said, it's kind of tough to throw the typical, apologetic tone out there to her and her fans and her family, especially on a weekend when almost 100 people who didn't want to die had to. And She did have a wonderful voice. She really was supremely talented, and the music world is losing a lot. But when we deify people for being able to sing and dance and having big tits and shooting jump shots, well, it's no surprise they start acting crazy. I mean, who knows? Maybe she didn't feel like she deserved the attention she was getting and the affection she was getting. So don't
Yeah, I
really.
mean, I think you can definitely draw a line between her and, say, like a Jessica Simpson or a Katy
Oh,
Perry or a Britney Spears or some other,
yeah.
some other clearly commercial packaged kind of, female talent. I mean, that wasn't her. You could look at her and tell that wasn't her, and you could tell it by the brand of music that she sang. But addiction's a hell of a thing. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, and I'd love to know what she was mixing with all that shit. I mean, it's the ketamine that throws me, man. The cocaine, the X, I can kind of get that. Heroin gets a little sketchy, and then you throw ketamine in the mix, and it's like, what is it you're trying to get your body to do? And you either want to be up or down.
That shit's out of control. I mean, I'm tempted to say I would have wanted to party with this girl, but I mean, it's so much easier to eat a bullet.
Yeah, I don't think I could have kept up, man. Honest to
Nah,
God, I'm man enough to admit I don't think I could have kept up.
I don't know, man. Just a shame to see the talent wasted on that level, you know?
Yeah, man, there's a handful of songs that I would have loved to have seen her do, which obviously she never will now, but
Yeah.
such is life, like Doug Stanhope says, maybe she was out of shit. you know, you know, it's
I would say she was all up in it, but let's not get carried away now.
right.
Rest in peace, Amy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She went out on her terms and she went out on top, so not everybody can say that.
Yeah.
You got any book recommendations this week?
I have absolutely nothing. I'm trying to piece something together for next week, but I can't guarantee it. I know I've been illiterately delinquent for a while, so I'm counting on you to pull me out of the junk now.
Yeah, I got one that I'm working on. I just started it. I'm liking it quite a bit. And I'll probably be finished by next week, so I'll be able to give a review. But for the meantime, I don't have anything. So all y'all keep your heads low and your powder dry, and we will see you next week on Not Safe for Work.
Be safe, guys.
Take care, guys.